I never thought my own sister would treat me like this. Ryla and I have always been close. Growing up, we shared everything, and I thought nothing could ever come between us. When she got engaged to Andy, I was so happy for her. I knew how much she'd been dreaming about her wedding, and I couldn't wait to help her plan it. But now everything has changed, and I feel completely betrayed. Ryla got engaged about a year and a half ago. She called me right after Andy proposed, and I could tell how excited she was. A few days later, she asked me to be her maid of honor. I did not even think twice before saying yes. I was ready to do anything to make her wedding perfect. It did not matter how much work it would be. I just wanted her to have the day she'd always dreamed of. From the start, Ryla had big plans. She wanted everything to be perfect. The venue, the decorations, the flowers, the dress, the catering. I threw myself into helping her plan. We spent hours together looking at venues, trying on dresses, and picking out colors. I helped her organize everything from the guest list to the seating chart. I thought it was worth it because she was my sister and I wanted to see her happy. The problem started with the budget. Ryla and Andy had set a limit, but it was not enough for the kind of wedding she wanted. Instead of making changes to fit the budget, she kept saying things like, "It's my one special day," or "I will never get this chance again." At first, I did not mind helping out a little. I paid for some small things like decorations and accessories, but over time her expectations grew, and so did the amount of money I was spending. Ryla found a dress she loved, but it was way over budget. She was so upset, saying it was the only one she could see herself wearing. I couldn't stand seeing her like that, so I paid for it. Then she found a venue she said was perfect, but the deposit was too high. I stepped in and paid for that too. It seemed like every time something was too expensive, I ended up covering the cost. By the time I added everything up, I had spent over $10,000 of my own money on her wedding. I did not complain, even though it was not easy for me. I used money I'd been saving for my own future because I wanted Ryla to have the wedding she wanted. I thought she appreciated what I was doing for her. I thought she understood how much I cared. At the same time, my boyfriend Owen and I were talking about starting a family. We'd been together for a long time, and we both felt ready to take that step. It was not something we planned to happen right away, but we decided to stop using birth control and see what happened. I did not think it would affect anything with Ryla's wedding because I was not expecting to get pregnant so quickly. A couple of months ago, I found out I was pregnant. It was a surprise, but Owen and I were so happy. It felt like everything was falling into place for us. I waited a couple of weeks before telling Ryla because I did not want to take attention away from her wedding planning. When I finally told her, I expected her to be happy for me. I thought she'd be excited to become an aunt, but she was not happy at all. She did not smile or congratulate me. Instead, first thing she said was, "Did you do this on purpose to take my spotlight away?" I was shocked. Of course I did not do it on purpose. Why would I? But from that moment, things between us started to change. She became distant and stopped including me in the wedding planning as much. It felt like she was upset with me, but I did not know why. Then, about a month before the wedding, Ryla told me I couldn't be her maid of honor anymore. She said it wouldn't be appropriate for me to stand next to her because I was pregnant. She claimed that people would focus on me instead of her, and that it would ruin her big day. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I had done so much for her, spent so much money and time, and now she was pushing me aside like I did not matter. But it didn't stop there. She went on to say that I was not invited to the wedding at all. She accused me of getting pregnant to steal her spotlight. She said I had planned it, to ruin her wedding. I did not know what to say. I was hurt and angry, but mostly I was confused. How could she think I would do something so selfish? After everything I had done for her, how could she treat me like this? I tried to explain that I did not plan the timing of my pregnancy. I told her I would never try to take attention away from her wedding. But she did not believe me. She was convinced that I had done it on purpose. She said she did not want me there because my pregnancy would be a distraction. It did not matter how much I had helped her. It did not matter that I had spent months working on her wedding or that I had spent thousands of dollars from my own savings. All she cared about was that I was pregnant and that in her mind I was ruining her special day. Here's how things got even messier. Ryla made it clear that she wanted our parents, Minnie and Patrick, to pick sides. If they supported her and attended her wedding, everything would be fine. But if they chose me, she said she would cut them off from her life. It felt like she was using her wedding as a way to control everyone, including our parents. She also accused me of manipulating them, saying that I was making them feel guilty about her wedding. When our parents told me that they weren't sure about attending because of the pressure from Ryla, I understood. I did not want them to feel like they had to choose between us, but Ryla made it sound like I was the one creating all this drama. She claimed that I was upset because I wouldn't be the center of attention at her wedding and that I was making everything about me. It hurts so much to hear that. For months, I've been working hard to help Ryla with her wedding, spending both time and money to make sure everything was perfect for her. I never wanted to steal her spotlight or make it about me. All I wanted was for her to have the best wedding day possible. But now she's twisted everything, making it seem like I am the one being selfish. The worst part is that Ryla's convinced that I got pregnant just to steal her thunder. She thinks I planned it so I could overshadow her wedding. I couldn't believe it when I heard that. I never planned the timing of my pregnancy. And I certainly did not think it would interfere with her big day. But now she's convinced that I did it on purpose. She even said that I'm just trying to make her wedding all about me. It's hard to wrap my head around the fact that she believes this. Ryla's anger has only gotten worse since then. Every time I try to talk to her, she accuses me of making things about myself. She says that I should just grow up and let her have her special day. It feels like no matter how many times I explain that I'm not trying to steal her spotlight, she won't listen. She's too focused on blaming me for everything that's gone wrong. I've tried my best to stay calm through all of this, but it's hard. I feel like I'm being treated unfairly and it's been draining. All I want is for Ryla to see how much I care about her and how much I've done for her. But it feels like nothing I do is enough for her. She's angry at me for something I did not even do, and I can't fix it no matter how hard I try. Meanwhile, our parents are stuck in the middle of this mess. They want to support both of us, but they're being put in an impossible position. They're tired of being pressured by Ryla, but at the same time, they do not want to lose her. I understand that. But it's also hard not to feel like I am being abandoned in all of this. It's painful to see our parents caught up in Ryla's demands, especially when they know I've done nothing wrong. I tried to reassure them that it was okay if they did not want to attend Ryla's wedding. I did not want them to feel forced into a decision they did not want to make. But it seemed like no matter what I said, Ryla kept making everything worse. She called me selfish, accused me of trying to ruin her wedding, and said that I was only upset because I was not the center of attention. She even said that I was playing the victim to get sympathy from our parents. It felt like I was losing everyone, even though I hadn't done anything wrong. Owen, my boyfriend, has been incredibly supportive through all of this. He listens to me vent. And he's told me to ignore Ryla's accusations. He's been great at helping me keep my head on straight, but even he's starting to get frustrated with the situation. He says I shouldn't let Ryla control me, but it's hard not to care when she's accusing me of things I did not do. I feel like she's twisting everything to make me the bad guy, and I do not know how to get out of this situation. The hardest part is that Ryla is so angry at me that she won't even listen to my side of things. Every time I try to explain myself, she just shuts me down. It's like she's convinced that I am the one causing all of this drama, and she won't even try to see things from my perspective. I've been patient with her. I've tried to be understanding, but it feels like she's pushing me away more and more every day. I feel like I'm stuck in a lose-lose situation. If I try to make peace with Ryla, she accuses me of being manipulative. If I stand up for myself, she calls me selfish. It's exhausting. I just want things to go back to the way they were, but it feels like that's never going to happen. Our parents have also been affected by all of this. They've told me that they might not attend Ryla's wedding if things do not change. They're tired of being in the middle of this conflict, and I understand why, but I also feel bad for them. I never wanted to put them in this position. I just wanted Ryla to be happy, and now everything is falling apart. I do not know how to fix this. I tried talking to Ryla, explaining that I'm not trying to steal her spotlight, but nothing seems to get through to her. I've done everything I can to help her, but it feels like she's making me the villain in this situation. It's hard not to feel like I'm losing my sister, and it's heartbreaking to see how angry she is at me. So here I am, trying to figure out if I am wrong. Maybe I'm being selfish. Maybe I should just let it go. But I can't help but feel like Ryla is being completely unreasonable. I never wanted any of this to happen, but now it feels like everything is falling apart. AITA for being upset with my sister for disinviting me from her wedding and making me out to be the bad guy when I've done nothing wrong. Update 1. The wedding was last week and it did not go well at all. Almost all of our relatives cancelled at the last minute, and from what I've heard, Ryla was completely blindsided. Once people learned what had happened between us, they made the decision not to support her. I want to be clear. I never asked anyone to take my side or to boycott her wedding. That's not the kind of person I am, and it was never my intention. But I think her behavior and the way she treated me were too much for people to ignore. Honestly, I feel bad for her. Nobody wants their wedding day to be anything less than perfect, and it's heartbreaking to think of her looking around the room and realizing that most of her family was not there. I never wanted this to happen. I did not want her big day to turn into a disaster. At the same time, I can't pretend this was not something she brought on herself. Her actions, everything from disinviting me to blaming me for things that weren't my fault, alienated a lot of people. I hate that it reached this point, but I also feel like she created the situation. The day before the wedding, Ryla called me out of the blue. I hadn't heard from her since everything blew up between us, so I was surprised to see her name on my phone. She asked if I could come to the wedding. Her voice sounded different, less confident, and more like she was trying to hold back emotions. But it was already too late by then. Owen and I had decided to take a short trip to clear our heads and get away from all the drama. I was not even in town anymore. I told her I couldn't make it, and that was the end of the conversation. She did not say much else. I thought that was the end of it. But a few days after the wedding, she called me again. This time she sounded really upset. She told me that almost none of our family had shown up to her wedding. Apparently, it was mostly their friends there, and the absence of family was glaringly obvious. For a brief moment, I felt sorry for her. No one deserves to feel that kind of loneliness on what's supposed to be one of the happiest days of their life. But then she started blaming me. Ryla said it was all my fault that the family did not come to her wedding. She claimed that because I got pregnant out of wedlock, I had caused people to refuse to attend. She said I was the one who ruined everything. Hearing her twist things around like that made me so frustrated. All I did was tell people the truth when they asked why I was not going to the wedding. I did not spread gossip or try to turn people against her. If they decided not to go, that was entirely their decision. What really pushed me over the edge, though, was what she said next. She started talking about my baby. She said my child wouldn't be loved or blessed because they were being born out of wedlock. She repeated it like she wanted to drive the point home, like she wanted it to hurt. It was cruel and unnecessary, and I couldn't believe she was actually saying those things. I tried to stay calm at first, but the more she talked, the angrier I got. She wouldn't stop blaming me and twisting the situation to make it seem like I was the one who had done something wrong. And finally I snapped and I yelled at her. I did not just respond to the awful things she said about my baby. I let out everything I'd been holding back inside. I reminded her of how I had spent thousands of dollars to help her plan the wedding of her dreams, only to be disinvited at the last minute. I brought up all the times she had been selfish and hurtful, not just recently, but throughout our lives. I told her that her behavior was the reason people did not want to support her, not anything I did. By the time I finished, she was crying, but I did not feel sorry for her. I had spent weeks feeling hurt, confused, and betrayed by her actions. And it was clear she had no empathy for what I'd been through. She only cared about herself and her own feelings, and I was done letting her make me the villain in her story. I hung up the phone and immediately blocked her number. I did not want to deal with her anymore. I was emotionally drained, frustrated, and tired of being blamed for things I did not do. I do not understand how she can still see herself as the victim after everything she did. She refuses to take any responsibility for her actions and keeps trying to pin everything on me. Even now, I feel bad that her wedding turned out the way it did. I never wanted this to happen. I value family, and it's hard to see something so special become so messy. But I also know this isn't my fault. I did not ruin her wedding. Her behavior did. She made choices that pushed people away, and now she's facing the consequences. At the same time, I can't help but feel a sense of relief. Standing up for myself and my baby felt empowering, even though it came with its own challenges. I am tired of letting people walk all over me, and I'm especially tired of letting Ryla make me feel like I am the problem. I do not know what's going to happen from here. If Ryla ever wants to mend our relationship, she'll need to do a lot of work. She'll need to apologize sincerely and take responsibility for her actions. Right now, though, I don't think she's ready for that. Until then, I can't see a way forward for us. For now, I'm focusing on my own life and preparing for the future. Owen and I are excited about the baby, and we're trying to stay positive despite all the drama. I've realized that some relationships aren't worth holding on to if they bring more pain than happiness. It's sad, but it's also freeing in a way. I hope Ryla can learn from this experience and grow, but whether or not that happens is out of my hands. Right now, I just need to focus on what's best for me and my family. Update 2. After my last conversation with Ryla, I couldn't shake off how upset I felt. I needed someone to talk to, so I called my parents. Over the past few months, we've gotten a lot closer, and they've been really supportive throughout everything. I told them everything Ryla said to me, including how she blamed me for her wedding issues and the horrible things she said about my baby. When I finished, they were both really quiet. I could tell they were upset. My mom said she did not understand how Ryla could say those things. My dad sounded angry and disappointed, and they both agreed that what she'd done was wrong and unfair. The next day, my dad called me back. He said they had spoken to Ryla. He told me they confronted her about everything, from the way she treated me to the cruel things she said. But the conversation did not go well. According to my dad, Ryla refused to admit she was wrong. She did not apologize or take responsibility for anything. Instead, she just blamed me again and acted like she was the victim. That's when my parents made a decision I did not see coming. My dad told me they had decided to take Ryla out of their will and cut ties with her. He said they couldn't support someone who was so cruel to her own family. He also said that they told her they wouldn't speak to her again unless she changed her behavior and took accountability for what she'd done. I was shocked. I did not expect things to go this far. I asked my dad if he was sure about their decision and if it was not too extreme, but he told me they were certain. Then he told me something else that completely caught me off guard. Ryla had been spreading rumors about me. Hearing that felt like a punch to the stomach. I did not know what to say. I asked what kind of rumors she was spreading, but my dad didn't want to tell me the details. He just said Ryla had been telling people things that weren't true and trying to make me look bad. He said they hadn't told me before because they did not want to upset me or make me feel worse. That broke my heart. She was not just being hurtful to me in private, she was trying to ruin my reputation behind my back. And for what? Because I got pregnant? Because I was not at her wedding? Because I did not ask her for permission to have a baby? I couldn't understand it. She was my sister and my best friend. I used to think we were closer than anyone else in the world. When I found out I was pregnant, I thought she'd be the happiest person for me. I imagined her helping me plan for the baby and being the fun, loving aunt. But instead, it feels like my pregnancy flipped a switch in her. It's like she decided I got pregnant just to ruin her wedding. That idea is so ridiculous, but she seems to believe it. Why would I want to ruin her big day? Why would I do any of this on purpose? None of this was ever about her, but somehow she made it about herself. When my dad told me about the rumors, I felt devastated. I thought about all the things Ryla and I had been through together. She was not just my sister, she was my best friend. I trusted her more than anyone else, and now I feel like I don't know who she is anymore. I asked my dad if he was sure cutting her off was the right thing to do. It felt like such a big step, but he said they couldn't stand by and let her continue this behavior. They did not want to be a part of her life if she was going to treat people this way. Part of me feels guilty about what's happened between Ryla and my parents. I never wanted them to cut her off. I did not even know they were thinking about doing that. But at the same time, I know this isn't my fault. Ryla made her choices, and those choices have hurt so many people. The worst part is, I don't even understand why she's acting this way. What changed? How did we go from being so close to this? She was supposed to be the person I could count on, the person who would always be there for me. And now it feels like she's my biggest enemy. It's hard to accept that my own sister, the person I thought would be my biggest supporter, has turned into someone I do not even recognize. I keep thinking back to all the good memories we had, and it just makes me feel even sadder. How did we get here? I don't know if Ryla will ever realize how much she's hurt me. I don't know if she'll ever apologize or take responsibility for what she's done. All I know is that this isn't the relationship I wanted with my sister. I wanted her to be a part of my life, part of my baby's life, but now I don't know if that's even possible. For now, I'm trying to focus on the people who have supported me. My parents, Owen, and the relatives who stood by me, but there's still a part of me that misses the Ryla I used to know. I do not know if we'll ever get back to being the sisters we were before, and that breaks my heart. Update 3. I thought things would settle down after my parents cut ties with Ryla, but she was not done creating drama. I've been trying to focus on my pregnancy, Owen, and getting ready for the baby, but Ryla keeps finding ways to pull me back into her mess. It started when I got a message from Jess, an old friend of ours. Jess told me that Ryla had been talking to her, claiming I lied about everything that happened. Ryla told Jess that I was making her look bad, that I was not disinvited from the wedding, and that I am the one who's been trying to ruin her life. Jess did not believe her, but it hurt to know Ryla was going around saying things like this. Then one of my cousins called and said Ryla was planning a family meeting to clear her name. I couldn't believe it. Most of our relatives already know what happened. Why was she so determined to rewrite the story? It felt like she was trying to make me the villain instead of taking responsibility for what she did. I called my parents to let them know, and they weren't surprised. My dad said Ryla had been trying to get back on their good side, apologizing for a few things. But she still refused to admit she hurt me. She kept blaming me, saying her wedding fell apart because I stole the spotlight with my pregnancy. Hearing this made me feel sad and frustrated all over again. I couldn't believe she still did not understand how much she hurt me. A week later, Ryla tried to reach out again. This time, she sent a message through a mutual friend asking if we could meet and talk. I didn't want more drama, but I agreed because I hoped we could find some closure. When we met, she looked different, tired and defeated, like the weight of everything was finally catching up with her. She said her life had been falling apart since the wedding and that she did not know how to fix it. And for a moment, I felt bad for her. I did not want her to feel like this, but then she started blaming me again. She said my pregnancy had stolen the spotlight and that it was my fault her wedding did not go as planned. That was the last straw for me, and I told her I was not going to listen to her blame me for her choices. I reminded her that she disinvited me from her wedding, spread lies about me, and hurt our family relationships. I told her she needed to take responsibility for her actions. She started crying and said she felt like she'd lost everything. I told her I did not want that for her, but she made her own choices. She kept saying she did not know how to fix things, but it seemed like she wanted everything to go back to normal without actually apologizing or making amends. I left that meeting feeling drained. It was clear Ryla still did not understand how much damage she had caused. I love her because she's my sister, but I can't keep letting her drag me down. Since then, I've decided to focus on my own life. I have so much to look forward to with Owen and our baby. My parents have been amazing, and I've realized how lucky I am to have their support. Even friends I hadn't spoken to in years have reached out to check on me. As for Ryla, I do not know if we'll ever have a real relationship again. Maybe one day she'll change, or maybe she won't. I've stopped trying to figure out why she acted the way she did. I do not think I will ever understand how my pregnancy turned her into someone I barely recognize. For now, I'm moving on. I have more important things to focus on, like building a happy life for my family. If Ryla decides to take responsibility and truly apologize, I might consider reconnecting in the future. But until then, I am done letting her actions hurt me. Stay tuned for more stories from our girl relationships.